You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like the loudest person had all the power? Their voice dominates the air. Their gestures are sharp. Their presence demands attention, almost like they need it to breathe. And yet, something about them feels unstable, like their confidence could crumble the moment they're ignored. Now picture the opposite. Someone enters quietly. They don't say much. They observe more than they speak. But when they do speak, the room softens. No drama, no competition, just presence. That's not weakness. That's control. And that kind of control, quiet, steady, rooted, is rare. We live in a world that rewards reactivity. Get angry, get loud, post back, clap back, let them know you won't tolerate disrespect. But the Stoics, they saw through that illusion. They understood that the real power isn't in shouting over others. It's in needing nothing from them. Not their approval, not their apology, not even their understanding. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear about what matters. Clear about what's yours to carry and what isn't. Clear about who you are, even when the world tries to pull you into noise. In this journey, we're going to explore the quiet strength of emotional detachment. Not indifference, not apathy, but something deeper. The ability to remain rooted in chaos, to stay soft in a harsh world, to walk away without resentment, to stay without losing yourself. If you've ever felt drained by other people's emotions, if you've ever wished you could care less about what they think, if you've ever wondered whether peace is possible without becoming numb, stay with me, because there is a way to live that doesn't require constant defense. There is a power that speaks without noise, and by the end of this, you'll know how to find it. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. There's a moment right before you react when everything tightens. Someone rolls their eyes, dismisses your opinion, questions your value, even in small, subtle ways. You feel the sting. Your mind rushes ahead, scripting what you'll say, how you'll win, how you'll prove them wrong. But that's the trap, not the insult, not the disrespect. The trap is in the reaction, in the way your peace becomes theirs to steal. Most people think power is loud, but the Stoics believe power is found in stillness, because the truth is, what they say doesn't matter unless you make it matter. Insults only hurt when you give them meaning. Disrespect only stings when you accept it as truth. Criticism only cuts when you open yourself to bleed for it. And yet, we do, every day. We open ourselves to pain that doesn't belong to us. But what if you didn't? What if, the next time someone said something petty, you paused and simply thought, this is noise, not truth. This is their struggle, not mine. What if you stopped making their chaos your story? You don't have to respond to every jab. You don't have to defend every misunderstanding. You don't have to educate every critic. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not react. Not because you're weak, but because you've built something inside that can't be touched by opinions. A quiet confidence, a deep knowing of your own worth. And once you find that, you'll start to see how much of your suffering was never real, just imagined, just rehearsed pain that never had to be yours. Let it go. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. There's a calm that comes from knowing what's yours to hold and what's not. We waste so much of our energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Someone criticizes you, you try to explain. Someone misunderstands, you rush to correct. Someone disrespects you, you rise to defend. But all of that is reaction, and reaction is surrender. The Stoics taught that there are only two categories in life, things within your control and things outside of it. Within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your perspective, your choices. Outside of your control, other people's words, their opinions, their behavior, their approval. The moment you truly accept this, it changes everything. You stop chasing explanations. You stop needing to be understood. You stop trying to fix things that were never yours to fix. And in that space, peace begins. The next time someone says something cruel or dismissive, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. Let it pass through you. Let it dissolve before it even lands. That's not indifference. That's wisdom. It's not apathy. It's alignment. Because when you live in alignment with what you can control, life stops feeling like a battlefield and starts to feel like a path. You walk straighter. You breathe deeper. You waste less. And in a world obsessed with reaction, your calm becomes your rebellion. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Epictetus. The mind is a battlefield, and most of the wounds we carry come from battles that never even happened. We imagine the worst, we replay past conversations, we rehearse future confrontations, and in doing so, we bleed in advance. The Stoics knew this pattern well. That's why they practiced what may seem like a strange habit, negative visualization. They would begin the day by imagining what could go wrong. Insults, rejection, loss, failure. But not to dwell in fear, to prepare. Because when you expect the world to be kind at all times, even small offenses feel like betrayal. But when you accept that hardship is part of life, you stop being shocked by it. You stop taking it personally. You stop clinging to peace as something fragile. Instead, you carry it with you, no matter what comes. Marcus Aurelius would start his mornings reminding himself, "Today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Not as a complaint, but as preparation. He knew the world wouldn't bend to his preferences, so he trained his mind to bend with the world and still remain unbroken. You can do the same. Each morning before the noise begins, give yourself 30 seconds. Close your eyes and say, "Today I may be ignored. I may be criticized. I may be misunderstood, but I will not lose my peace." That single act changes everything. You stop being surprised. You start being ready. You walk into the day not hoping it will go your way, but knowing you can handle it either way, and that is freedom. To live a good life, we have the potential for it, if we learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Marcus Aurelius. Anger needs fuel. It thrives on reaction. It grows when it's fed. It spreads when it's answered. But what happens when you don't feed it? What happens when someone tries to provoke you and you respond with silence? That silence becomes a shield. The Stoics believe that nothing disarms an aggressor faster than indifference. Because when someone comes at you with chaos and you refuse to participate, you strip them of their power. They expect heat. They get stillness. They expect a fight. They get calm. They expect validation. You give them emptiness. And in that emptiness, their anger has nowhere to go. It dies in midair. Think of a fire. It needs oxygen. Take it away and it goes out on its own. You are not required to entertain every provocation. You are not obligated to explain your peace to those addicted to conflict. In fact, the more you grow, the more you'll notice how often people will try to pull you back into old versions of yourself. Through sarcasm, through challenges, through subtle disrespect. Not because they hate you, but because your peace threatens their chaos. When that happens, remember this: you don't owe them a reaction. You owe yourself your peace. Try it. Next time someone pushes your buttons, don't flinch, don't explain, don't defend. Just breathe. Smile, maybe. Then walk away. Not as an escape, but as an act of strength. Because when your presence becomes too grounded to shake, too still to stir, too whole to fracture, that's when you know you've stepped into real power. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. If you want to be calm when the storm hits, you have to train in stillness before it arrives. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a discipline. It's not something you read. It's something you practice daily. Just like a warrior trains their body before battle, you must train your mind before chaos comes. Because peace doesn't happen by accident. It's built one small moment at a time. It starts in the morning when you choose not to scroll, when you sit in silence for a few minutes and observe your thoughts, when you journal, not for perfection, but for clarity. Ask yourself, what triggered me today? Why did I react? Was that reaction aligned with who I want to be? You're not judging, you're studying, because self-awareness is the foundation of self-mastery. Then throughout your day, You train again. When someone interrupts you, you pause. When something doesn't go your way, you breathe. When your pride wants to speak, you listen instead. These are the quiet reps, the mental push-ups no one sees. And at night, you return to the page. You reflect on what went well, what didn't, where you lost yourself, and how you came back. Over time, this practice reshapes you. You become less reactive, more observant, harder to provoke, easier to be around. You begin to notice that most of the world is ruled by impulse. But you've built a space between the impulse and the response. And in that space, you live, you lead, you remain. Because a calm mind is not weak, it's trained, and that training becomes your edge. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Freedom isn't found in escape, it's found in discipline. The ability to walk away from an argument that bruises your ego, but protects your peace. The strength to stay silent when your pride is begging to speak. The clarity to choose presence over performance, calm over chaos, stillness over struggle. That's real mastery. But it doesn't happen by accident. It's forged in moments when no one is watching. When you want to lash out, but don't. When you want to prove a point, but choose peace. When you want to be right, but choose to be free. Because being unbothered isn't about being above others. It's about being anchored within yourself. It's knowing that your value doesn't rise or fall based on opinions. It's living so aligned with your truth that no one can shake you out of it. Imagine this. Someone insults you publicly. Their words sting. All eyes turn to you, posts waiting for your response. But instead of defending, you pause. You smile, you nod, and you move on. Not because you're afraid, but because you've already won the only battle that matters, the one within. That kind of control can't be faked. It can't be performed. It can only be earned through self-respect and daily discipline. So start today. Journal before bed. Meditate for 5 minutes. Practice choosing your response instead of reacting. And when you fail, because you will, don't shame yourself. Learn. Because every time you return to yourself, you strengthen the quiet part of you that no one can touch. And that part, that's where your freedom lives. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. By now, you've probably felt it. That shift. That pull towards stillness. The realization that peace isn't found in winning arguments or proving points, but in walking through life without needing to grasp for control. That's not detachment in the cold sense. That's liberation. Because when you stop trying to manage everything around you, you finally start managing the only thing that ever mattered, yourself. And from that place, your life begins to change. Not loudly, quietly. You start choosing your words with care. You start letting go of situations that once consumed you. You stop replaying scenarios in your head, trying to rewrite them. You just let them go. And what remains is space, clarity, presence. You begin to see people more clearly, not as enemies, not as threats, but as humans caught in their own storms. And instead of joining their chaos, you become the calm they didn't expect. That's influence, that's presence, that's power. Because in 2025, a time when everything feels louder, faster, more desperate for attention, stillness is revolutionary, not because it shouts, but because it doesn't need to. So what do you do now? You live it, you practice it, you journal tonight, not just to process your thoughts, but to shape them. You wake up tomorrow, not hoping for an easy day, but ready to remain unshaken no matter what comes. And when people ask what changed, you won't have to explain, they'll feel it. The quiet strength, the grounded presence, the man who doesn't chase peace because he carries it with him, always.